Hi, I'm Joe Scardina, and I'm going to make pickled eggplants the way my Uncle Paul taught me. Years ago, Uncle Paul always made pickled eggplants, and he taught me how to do this, so I got all the ingredients and the lovely eggplants. We always look for a nice eggplant, not a medium size. This is kind of large, and the reason being, this might have a lot of seeds. So you don't want real fat ones. You want nice, slim, nice eggplants, solid. And then I'll show you my ingredients. First of all, we have capers, we have oregano, we have good olive oil, virgin olive oil, we have canola oil, vegetable oil, and we have white vinegar. And that's what we start with. We have hot peppers. We have a nice, we call these finger hot peppers. We cut these up and then we put them in. And we have garlic. That's what we start with. How we start is, as you see, these are all peeled. So I'll show you how we peel. We start them. I always take the knife and I cut this here little stem off. That's where the eggplant is grown. We cut that off and we cut the front part off like that. And then we peel, and we peel as thin as we can. And I always use a saw knife because I can get them real thin with a saw knife. And it's not hard at all to do. You get all the peeling comes off. And I'm kind of fussy with that. I don't even like to just leave one little piece of purple in there. I peel them all down. Just like this. And not too deep. And then they turn out just like this. This is what you end up with. Now what we do is we cut them. We cut them, try to cut them as thin as you can. I'm going to cheat because I have a slicer here. But we're doing 12 eggplants. We're doing a dozen eggplants. That's going to make quite a few jars of pickled eggplants. And I do that because my grandsons love them, my family loves them, my friends love them, so I give them all a jar. So, but if we're going to cut by hand, we take the knife and we go about the thickness of a quarter or a $50. It's all right because we're going to press these and we take the water out later, and I'll show you how to do that later. But see, now you just cut like this here. If you're only doing 3, 4 eggplants or a few you can do, you don't need a slicer. Just get this with nice and easy. The thinner the better. No thicker than a silver dollar, and they'll press out. If you get a little heavy, that's all right too. That works too. But I like them thin. And then when I press them, see, we got to get all the moisture out of them, all the water in there, because they're a little bitter if you don't take that, get all that oil out. And I'll show you how we do that later. We press them with weights, and we put salt on them so that it makes them sweat. And that's how we do it. See, we keep that up. Now I'm going to go to the slicer and slice these here. Then I'll come back to you and I'll show you exactly what we do with them. Alright, here we are now. I got them all sliced and I have them in piles, as you can see here. All the 6 eggplants that I have here. Now I take and we stack them. I got a little tray here, and I have some a grate, a strainer, and I put them on that. So they're all going to drain now. And I put them on a pie on a pizza tin. So all the water goes, all the water that comes off of them goes in there. Now we level them like this in layers. And try to keep them as flat as possible. Because we're going to put a weight on these after, see? And now we do this till we get them all nice and set up in there. And then we take salt on every layer, just a little. Just sprinkle a little bit on there like that on each layer. That's alright if you get a little heavy, but try to just sprinkle them on easy. Then you take some more and you go on top of those. Very easy. These are the fatter ones. If you see the seeds, see here? See the seeds in them? They have all kind. See, these are the heavier ones. These aren't fine. These aren't bad. These are really good. But the perfect ones are the ones without the seeds, like this. See these? These are thinner and very little seed in them. They're all good. All good. This is perfect. This is very good. Because sometimes you have too many seeds. And when you get them too heavy with seeds, you almost have to shake the seeds off a little bit. But that doesn't hurt them if you're still seedy. It's just that they fall apart. This way here, they hang in there and they stay all together. And you just set them up. See, now these have no seeds. See, the back part of the eggplant is where all the seed is. So the ball of the eggplant, the back part, is a heavy. If it's a heavy, that's why I say you get them medium size, because the bigger they are, the more the seeds in them. Sprinkle a little salt. You can't get too much salt, whether you think it or not, because actually all the water drains through them and the salt drains off of them. So they're not what you would say, boy, a lot of salt on there. They're going to be pretty salty. Wrong. They aren't salty at all, because all the water that gets drained out of them, and then we want most of the water out of them as much as we can. Later on we'll put a weight on them, which I'll explain to you later and show you that. Okay, let me finish this here, and I'll get all set up, and we'll come back and I'll show you the last part of handling the eggplants, putting a weight on them. Could be weight. Years ago we used to use a brick. My Uncle Paul used to put bricks on them, regular house bricks. You know, he had a pan on top of them, and then the weights were house bricks. Now, you know, alright, we're back. I'm just finishing up now. I'm putting the last of the few up here, and we put a little bit of salt on top. See how high the pile is now? Going to be pleasantly surprised. This is going to be way down real low when we're done. Now let me explain. You can use, I'm using these heavy racks that have holes in them, and I lined them with Reynolds aluminum, so that and then they'll drain through it and stuff. You could use a skull of macadon, the strainer. You can use that and put them in there, as long as it's got holes in it, and you got to put weights on them. You got to salt them down, put weight. It's very important to get all of the juice out, as much of the, not all of it, as much as you can. So here's what I do now. I take, and I have another pizza pan, and I set it on top like this, all right? And I put a little pressure on them, because I got so many here, they're really high, all right? And then, now I'll take a bucket of, I've got water in this here, in this here pan, and I take and I put it on top of this, and I let it drain for at least 4 hours. At least 4 hours. And while it's draining, then I take and I clean my garlic. I get all my garlic ready, chopped up real nice, and my peppers, and I set everything up and get ready to put them in a jar. But at least now, with 3 or 4 eggplants, 5 eggplants, you know, a couple hours of draining is good. And you can always press a little bit more out. Or if they're really still a little moist or wet, take a little Scotch towel and just tap the towel on it and just take what you can out of them. But that's not that important. That'll work. And then we'll do it from there. So now I'm gonna let this here set and take care of the rest, and I'll see you later after I get done with this here.